Deception is not a lie, and a lie is not a deception. Deception is truth turned into lie. That is what deception is. Deception can be found in Genesis chapter 3, verse 4 and 5. Where the devil tells Eve that God did not want you to eat the fruit of the tree because he knew when you eat, you will be like him, knowing good and evil. So, what the devil was doing there, he was deceiving Eve. You compare that with the Genesis chapter 3 and verse 22. Read and see what God says. This is what God says. Now, because the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil, remember that the devil had told Eve that when you eat this tree, when you eat of this tree, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So God knows good and evil. And to know good and evil is the likeness of God. But the devil was deceiving. He was using truth to deceive. Deception is more of slender. Deception is more of slender. Schemes are hatched behind deception. So deception has schemes behind it. You scheme to lure somebody. You scheme to deceive somebody using the word of God. So that is deception. The same the devil did. He tried to lure Jesus into falling into rebellion by using the word. So deception is something that should be well clarified in the mind of people who identify themselves with Christ. Deception has schemes and plots that are hatched to lure some people into something which is negative. For example, you want to marry, and there is a lady that you want to marry. So you go, you speak, you try to share your thought to her. She refuses. She says, no, I'm not ready. Then you, in your heart, you say, I must get her. Now, from that motive, plots and schemes will be hatched until the lady finds herself married to the man she did not accept. Same to women. You want a man to marry you, but that man is adamant. Then you say in your heart, I must marry this man. Now, from that motive, schemes and plots are hatched. Even some go to witch doctors for concoctions to be able to win the man over. So all these schemes and plots were hatched because the motive was negative. There is a negative motive behind every deception. It is like a slander. Deception is like a slander. When you slander someone, what you are saying is true that they have done. E.g., a pastor has fallen into sexual immorality. So you are telling somebody and you are going about speaking about what the pastor did, or that brother, or that sister, or that woman of God. Now what you are saying is true, but the motive is wrong. Just because the person has sinned and has fallen into temptation, the question is, must you go about speaking about them, spreading news about what they did? So that motive is wrong. You are not deceiving the person who fell into temptation. You are deceiving the hearers. When you look into that, you will find that many people are being driven by the spirit of deception. The spirit of deception is very much in the church. And the devil has no problem with people getting saved. The devil is waiting for them beyond the fences to deceive them, to use the same truth that they have believed in to deceive them. You hear somebody saying, the gospel cannot cannot move without money. So, brother, we must do everything to make sure we get money. Now, already that man is deceived, that brother is deceived. So the motive is wrong. The motive, whether he will preach the gospel or he will get money and become rich, the motive is wrong and is already under deception. It is very important for you, man and woman of God, to get rid of any deception that lingers around your life. Because deception is a scheme of the devil to deceive people, to use the Bible, use the truth to deceive people. Not deceiving sinners, but deceiving those who have already believed. So it is very important for us to make sure we align ourselves well with the truth, negating everything to do with the deception. When somebody has a gift from God and that person uses the gift to become rich, there is deception within the gift. So the devil has already used what is good to deceive the person. The person will become rich. A good example is a gospel singer, a person gifted with singing. The motive of that person, if the motive of that person is to be rich because of the gift, that motive is wrong. And deception is born out of anything that person does. Same to a preacher, same to a prophet, same to evangelist, and same to all believers and members in the church. So the devil is a schemer. Look at the schemes he hatched against Jesus. All this fame and wealth is given to me, and I will give it to you. All this will be yours if you bow down and worship me. The scheme was for Jesus to worship the devil. That is the scheme. And many people end up doing that so as to have the wealth and the fame that they desire. So when it comes to serving God, the truth is free from deception. When it comes to serving God, no servant of God can scheme things. Let me use an example. I am a pastor and I have leaders. And the members of our church do not give generously, though they are wealthy. Then it is on Sunday, and we are about to get on the pulpit to preach. And in the office, I sit with my leaders and I ask them, these people do not give money and they have money. What are we going to do for them to give money? Now, anything that we are going to do there becomes deception. So somebody can be preaching so well, anointed, used of God in miracles. But any scheme to become rich or to earn, to have a leverage, to have a success using that, using the preaching so as to become rich, preaching so as to be wealthy, preaching in a way to get money. Now that is deception. That is not the truth. And I am sharing this in these end times because there is so much of deception within the church. Remember that before Jesus comes, deception must be at the peak. Deception must work to the fullness before Jesus comes. When God spoke to Abraham, he told him, your descendants will be slaves in a foreign land. For 400 years, until the sins of the Amorites are full. So it means that for judgment to come and for Christ to descend, deception must reach its peak. That is when God brings judgment. So you who is a child of God, sift yourself, sift your faith, sift your standard of life, and make sure deception does not take control of your faith. And God bless you.